myself. Oh no, give me that cell. Oh, I gotta go like Cobain. 8 years to the grave, gone insane. My blood got propane. How you gon' go and throw my name with shame? Already cross-faded, making it to the disco. I hate it, and you know how this goes. You framed it, picture painted in my room. This that real life shit, none of Zoom, got the scene in it.
Make sure you're subscribed to JerCrispy.
What's up, y'all? It's your most Desmos. JerCrispy? How many years in the prison would Scooby-Doo villains get? I mean, it depends. What type of villains we got, you know? The type of villains do they got? Like, actually speaking, like cartoons? Like, what Scooby-Doo franchise? Because I watch all of them down there. You can go on Tubi and watch like half of them on there. But, you know, we're on the road to 500. And y'all want more videos like this, you know. Always go run up the views, like it, comment, subscribe, you know, and do what you do.
And get for the crimes. I've gone through all 48 movies.
God! They got 48 movies? Now, hold on. When Scooby-Doo turned Lego? Hold on. All right, let's go down to movies that. Hold on, wait a minute.
Prison would every Scooby-Doo movie villain get for the crimes?
Let's go ahead and pause this. The movies I watched, this one. I can't tell with this terrible ass quality that I got. Anywho, the one he got the Courage Collie Dog, I watched that one. The Pumpkin one. When they turn the puppets, I watched that one. The real life versions, I watched that one. So basically, like this. I ain't watched that. This. The real life version, this one, and I can't.
I've gone through all 48 movies and all of the specials to find every single crime the villains do, and use my handy dandy law book to bring some justice to this place. Now, depending on what state or country the film takes place in, I'll use that place's laws the best I can. So let's get started with Scooby's very first movie. In Scooby-Doo Meets the Boo Brothers, TJ impersonates the town sheriff to try and find the.
Oh yeah, I watched this too. Me and my brother used to watch this on a regular basis, bro.
Beauregard treasure in Shaggy's new plantation home. He makes his way in and scares the boys off, nearly knocking them off the roof before locking them in the secret room. He tries to slice the boys and the booze.
That's when they gave like Scrappy like the freaking terrible treatment. They gave him like you just get a stick. They got a stick. This is a razor. This is a razor. Poke that nigga with the stick. They said, hey, yeah, you're going to be the side character. You're going to be like, you know how on the Avengers treat Hawkeye like a side character? You know, yeah, you know, Scrappy, you're going to be that side character that we nobody don't fuck with. But sooner or later, you're going to turn out to be a villain one of these movies. Like, they could have kept that man.
Up and
then, you know, I just realized that on the show that I was watching off of Tubi, they got a dude named Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Dub, or Scooby-Dump. Whatever that nigga named Scooby-Dump or something like that. That nigga great, and he like freaking, he be staying in the swamps and stuff like that. I don't know.
Ghosts have rights? My buddy in New Mexico says yes. So add that attack on to trying to bury Shaggy and Scooby alive, and scaring Billy Bob off. TJ racks up a nice 287-year sentence.
Jeez!
In Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, Revolta and her minions spy on the Grimwood girls before abducting all 5 of them to turn them into servants. Scooby gets attacked by the Grim Creeper in the bog, while Shaggy waits until hitting Revolta's manor to get his in, getting trapped in the mirror dimension and the bottom of this well to make up for it. Luckily, everyone makes it out just fine, but Revolta will still be getting a revolting 5 life sentences and 122 years in jail for her crimes.
Damn.
And then kidnap him so he can race in the annual Monster Rally, bringing Scooby, Scrappy, and Shaggy's girlfriend Googie along for the hijinks. But Dracula really doesn't want him to win, so he and the monsters try everything they can to ruin their race, or ruin their lives. Even after he wins, Dracula chases them down and tries to end them, to no avail. Showing up at their house will give him one final charge of stalking, and the Count should count as lucky stars that he ever gets out of jail. Life plus 59 years for him.
Damn.
In Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, Simone, Lena, and Jacques become cat people to get revenge on the pirates who destroy their community, and every few years would sacrifice more people to keep their power. I've got 8 pirates, 10 settlers, 5 soldiers, and 8 tourists that they for sure murdered, marking Scooby's first actual serial killers. Okay, queens. You know what, just for you, I'll even knock off the pirates from the tally. That's just a good revenge arc. Oh, they also used voodoo magic to assault the gang and undercover Detective Bo, almost adding Shaggy and Scooby to that list of murder victims too. For our most iconic villains, it seems only right that they'd earn 23 life sentences, plus 522 and a half.
Yeah, I ain't lying to you.
Years in Louisiana State Prison. Oh, and Mr. Beeman from the start is a counterfeiter and chased the gang around a little bit. 11 years. In Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, Ben Ravencroft pays these 2 bozos and 2 security guards to help set up an attack of his professor so he can meet the gang and get their help. Help obtaining a legendary witch spellbook, which he acquires and promptly restrains Mr. McKnight, the mayor, and the Hex Girls before attacking the rest of the gang. His old ancestor Sarah Ravencroft shows him how it's really done, using her fireballs to attack the gang and light the town on fire, while also imprisoning Ben and enlarging this turkey to chase the boys. So I'm sentencing both Ben and Sarah to spend the rest of their lives in this book dimension. Oh, they died. In Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders, Laura, Max, and Steve use these broccoli alien disguises to illegally mine the gold
the one that just passed all of these I just watched, and I watched these ones too.
Found on the government property. They abduct Shaggy and Scooby one night to do something. Amber and Crystal join Fred and the girls in getting chased through the caves, with the latter 3 getting captured, eventually turning the tables on the 3 researchers. They get taken away by the Men in Black, so we can only assume that they got a combination of a neuralizer and life plus 24 years in a New Mexico prison. In Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, Bill was upset that his professor didn't pick his baseball game to showcase for the big prize.
Oh yeah, I remember this one. I like this one, like, cause he actually had like the most creative character on here, like.
So he designed this computer virus to attack Eric, and eventually Fred and the girls. Bill even transports the gang into the game world, with very real dangers. So I'll give him assault with a deadly weapon for each member of the gang for all 10 levels. So that'll be about 222 years behind bars. The equivalent of about 3 innings of baseball. In the live-action Scooby-Doo from 2002, Scrappy-Doo takes the identity of Emil Mondavarius to lure guests to the island to harvest their souls and take their power. We see 24 people at the start, a couple with Fred, and even special musical guest Sugar Ray. All of them get kept in this giant vat, so let's call it 1,000 people. Scooby gets attacked by the demons before bringing them back to the function to attack everyone else, while the rest of the gang get attacked in this haunted house from hell. Scrappy and his buddies here get extradited off Spooky Island, but I still think that 9,028 years will do just fine. Old Man Smithers as the Luna Ghost ain't safe either. 15 years for kidnapping Daphne and attacking Shaggy and Scooby.
Well, if he part along with it, he might as well stay along with them too. Man, don't get him no 15 years. Get that, do the same treatment as he was getting everybody else. He want to kidnap? Nah, if I was the judge, I would fuck around and get that nigga 15 times 15 times 15 and give him times another 15. I'm telling you.
In Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire, glam rock band Wildwind were upset over not winning the contest last year, so they returned with the Yowie Yahoo to kidnap their competition, including Matt Marvelous, the Bad Omens, and the Hex Girls, taking them all back to their lair. They even get the gang in on the fun, chasing them around with these giant fireballs before their capture. You already know the deal. You mess with the Hex Girls and you get punished to the fullest extent of the law. 486 years in Aussie prison. In Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico, Charlene and Mr. Smiley use the legend of the Chupacabra, frightening locals and trying to get Alejo and Luis's property from them. Jorge and Chiquita are the first victims, before bringing the gang and the Otero brothers in on the rampage, cutting the Mystery Machine's brake line in the process. Daphne gets kidnapped and taken to the ancient pyramids, where Velma and she go for a wild ride, while Alejo and Luis nearly get stomped. A final attack at the Day of the Dead celebration leaves our 2 gringos with 280 years in prison.
Jeez.
In Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, Dr. Jonathan Jacobo escapes from prison and steals all the costumes from the Coulsonian Museum, reanimating them to terrorize Coulsville once more. He breaks into Wickles Manor to plant some evidence before attacking the gang here, the factory, and in the build-up to the climax. Not to mention using the tar monster to trap, by my count, 74 people on the street, 66 protesters, and another guy in a car. He breaks into the news.
I know it took you about 48 movies, bro. I know that at least took you about a whole month and a half to watch that. About 3 months.
Station harpoons the Mystery Machine and kidnaps Patrick before a final assault of the gang, where Scooby finally saves the day. Oh, and Ned was helping him too, I guess. 469.5 years in Coolsville prison for the pair. In Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster, Fiona Pembroke pilots this robotic Nessie to try and convince everyone that she's really out there, going to some pretty extreme lengths to do so. She crashes Shannon's party boat with 14 people aboard, before destroying her castle to frighten Shag and Scoob. Eventually, the rest of the gang and Shannon join in on the chase, adding Del once his van gets stolen. Everyone ends up pretty chill with Fiona by the end, but I've still got a reservation for her in Scottish prison for 69.5 years. He's on the dollar. They crash the beach on the first day, attacking a total of 37 people here before the gang even gets involved. And when they do, the tiny tikis attack them at the luau with Ruben La Luna and 13 other guests, burning down some of the buildings and almost kidnapping Daphne. As they uncover the clues, the Wiki Tiki continues to attack them, destroying some artifacts and buildings along the way, racking up a nice 371 years in Hawaiian prison for the pair. In Scooby-Doo and Where's My Mummy, Amelia Von Butch and her gang hunt for the treasure of Cleopatra.
Ah, yeah, I remember. I can know this movie by the back of my head, bro. This movie is actually a good movie right here. I'm not gonna hold you. Sit down, like, this is actually a good movie. No, I ain't watched the other one. The last one right here, the last one that he was talking about, this, I ain't never watched that one. Now, the Mummy one, I don't know. For some reason, when I was watching movies, my stuff just got skipped around or something like that. I don't know what Scooby-Doo and them.
In Scooby-Doo and Where's My Mummy, Amelia Von Butch and her gang hunt for the treasure of Cleopatra, not letting Prince Omar and his phone stop her. She uses this explosive to blow the tomb open, throwing Fred to the side and flicking this locust off her. They attack Daphne and Fred in town, stealing the Ankh and leaving them unconscious on top of one of the pyramids. She does manage to steal the crown of Cleopatra and escape, but Fred's trap and some help from a friend capture her, leaving her with nothing but 4 life sentences plus 3.5 years in Egyptian prison. Oh yeah, speaking of Cleopatra, her ghost torments the gang, kidnapping all of Amelia's helpers and bowls a perfect strike with Shaggy, Scooby, and some of the warriors. Once the tomb collapses, Scooby unmasks Velma? Yeah, Velma and her archaeology buddies were protecting this tomb from the treasure hunters the whole time. You know what? I'll allow it. No prison time for her. In Scooby-Doo Pirates Ahoy, Mr. Mysterio hypnotizes 29 people to join Skunkbeard's pirate crew to search for the Heaven's Light meteor. They begin by boarding Rupert's ship, quickly wrecking it and taking off, before doing the same to the cruise ship that the gang are on with 33 other people on board. In the commotion, a couple of sword attacks and the kidnapping of Fred's parents mean that the gang has no choice but to hop on the case, leading to their sinking and eventual capture. Once aboard the pirate ship, the crew attack everyone and Scooby a couple of times before Shag and Scoob net them up. They wrote Biff Wellington, who was Skunkbeard, in with Mysterio, but they also said that he was hypnotized too, so I don't know. Either way, 16 life sentences and 341 years in prison.
Woo!
In Chill Out Scooby-Doo, Minga disguises as the Abominable Snowman to keep Del Choman at the radio station a little bit longer, because she's got a...
This the new style of Scooby-Doo. Like, you could tell this is like some new style of Scooby-Doo. It was getting like everything was evolving to new stuff.
Crush on him. She breaks into a couple of areas and steals some helium tanks, but hey, who hasn't before? Plus, she saved Del and Velma from an avalanche, so she's off the hook. Okay. Besides, we've got an actual criminal, Professor Jeffries. He brought a bunch of explosives into the Crystal Caves and started blast mining, and separated Minga from the sled, which could have led to her death. For this, he'll get life plus 11 years in Himalayan prison. In Scooby-Doo and the Goblin King, the amazing Krudsky becomes the most powerful wizard in the world after attacking this fairy and taking her powers. He breaks into Mr. Gibble's store, turns him into a rabbit, and then takes off with a bunch of goods, shooting fireballs at Shaggy and Scooby as they try and help. Fred and the girls aren't safe either, getting zapped into real monsters before Shaggy and Scooby save the day. Well, technically...
This the movie I was been trying to find, so, like, I don't know, every time when Halloween was trying to come around, I was always trying to find the Goblin King. And it's like, I don't know, it's like Cartoon Network never ever this, like, it only showed this, like, about 3 times. Only 3 times when I was a little kid. And I remember ages 6, 7, and 8. After I turned 9 years old and all the other things, they stopped showing this. I'm like, bro, what?
Those aren't safe either, getting zapped into real monsters before Shaggy and Scooby save the day. Well, technically the Goblin King does, and takes Krudsky back to the Demon Goblin realm. So, out of my jurisdiction. That's too bad.
I feel new, it's true, but somehow like I've always known you, deja vu. Deja vu.
In Scooby-Doo and the Samurai Sword, Miss Miyamoto and Sojo team up to find and steal the Sword of Doom and unleash the Black Samurai. They start by breaking into the museum and stealing the samurai armor before staging an attack on the martial arts tournament, where the gang face the worst of it. Even after her reveal, she locks Mr. Takagawa away with Fred and the girls, while sending her robot ninjas back into the city to try and track down the sword that Shag and Scoop took. A final duel with Miyumi sees her grab the sword and release the Black Samurai, who immediately wreaks havoc on Miyamoto and Sojo, using his power to restrain the gang and friends, and having a final boss battle with Shag and Scoop.
Oh no, hold on. Why the
Miyamoto and Sojo, using his power to...
Man, ain't no way. Son, ain't no way ain't no way this dude got me like that. Ain't no way, son. Son.
To restrain the gang and friends, and having a final boss battle with Shaggy and Scooby, who end up killing him. Oh. Well, I'm not one for corporal punishment, but you do you, Scoob. Life plus 165 years in prison for Miss Miyamoto and Sojo. In Scooby-Doo, The Mystery Begins, Principal Deedle disguises as the Spectre, controlling the ghosts of Ezekiel and Prudence with a magic spell, using them to attack the
For some reason, I did not like this one that much. No, I don't know. I don't think the dude who played Shaggy, I just not like. I don't know, son. I had to go down memory lane to see why I didn't like this movie. For some reason, I didn't like this movie, though.
Rally with what looks like 74 students and staff. Oh, plus the gang in detention. Fred gets attacked, Shaggy and Scooby get locked in the freezer, and the entire school goes up in flames. As the gang search for clues, mini-planes attack Shaggy and Scooby and wreck the vice principal's house, before the gang get the knockout gas and get taken back to the school. Vice Principal Grimes is already here, and the ghosts hit the town to scare a theater of like 40 people and what looks like 28 more on the streets. Oh, and also, one of them randomly kisses a woman? Why'd that happen? 174 years in Ohio State Prison. In Scooby-Doo Abracadabra-Doo, Marlin Merlin is the puppet master behind this griffin monster, terrorizing the castle and scaring off all the students and staff. Starting with this couple in the woods before adding Shaggy and Madeline to the list. Madeline gets kidnapped and locked away.
This one, Velma, cousin liked the Shaggy, bad as a mug, and I think Shaggy had caught feelings for her. Yeah, Velma got jealous, I think. Did she? Hold on.
Away in the tower, where her knight in shining armor leads the gang to rescue her. Kinda. In the end, they do capture him and ruin his plan. He's forgiven by everyone, but not in the eyes of the law. 30 years in prison. Also, in the opening credit sequence, we see Miss Thelmer dress up as the chemical creep and steal secret formulas from the factory and chase the gang around. The quickest 13-year sentence ever. In Scooby-Doo Camp Scare, Ranger Knudsen uses the legend of the woodsman.
Yeah, this was Camp Scare. This was actually a good movie. I had watched that about 2 years ago, son. I think this was on what? This had to be on Tubi. Tubi on Netflix. I don't know.
Fishman and the Spectre of Shadow Canyon to aid Babyface Beretti in stealing the treasure from the sunken city. And man, they rack up the charges. Axe attack of 2 counselors, burning the camp down, attacking Scooby, Shaggy, and Jessica while vandalizing the camp even more, stealing sonar equipment and an RV from the other camp, pushing 6 humans and a dog over the edge of a dam, using dynamite to explode the dam, flooding the lower camp, attacking Bert, Shaggy, Trudy, and Velma in the Jeep, axing Daphne, Velma, and Fred, breaking into the building and grabbing Jessica while falling, nearly drowning Daphne and Fred, attacking literally everybody again, and finally locking Bert, Daphne, Shaggy, Trudy, and Velma in this old jail cell. You know what? Not too shabby of a rap sheet. 4 life sentences and 111 years for Knudsen. Meanwhile, Beretti gets just 31 years.
Nah, Brady get about a life sentence too. About 2 of them. He was along with him.
Scooby-Doo Curse of the Lake Monster. Wanda Grubwort possesses Velma to wreak havoc on the country club with the help of these mutant frog monsters, breaking into the tent to attack Thorny, a camera guy, and Fred. The frog monster chases Daphne and the boys around, following her and Fred to this boat to lock them in and nearly drown them. Once Velma's revealed, she throws them off and makes 3 more minions to deal with them, while she handles Shaggy. Luckily, Shaggy performs an exorcism right there, and the ghost is banished for another 78 years.
With the Verizon Visa Card, you get up to $200 cash back as a new cardholder and 4% in rewards when you shop at the grocery store and get gas.
In Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Phanosaur, Blair and Culhane break into this old mansion and chase the gang out so they can buy it for cheap. 14 years in prison. Who am I kidding? That's not the real villain.
I was about to say, yeah, 14 more years, shit. 14, that ain't no 14 years. Get them about at least about 25 to their years. Still in that's 25, my
Professors
nigga.
Venkmeyer and Windsor use this Venusaur technology to illegally blast mine the crystal fossil from the cave system. They scare the gang and the rest of their team off, chasing Shag and Scoob on this minecart before heading back into town to steal Mr. Hubley's machine and set everything ablaze. The townsfolk and the gang nearly get torched, with the latter withstanding one final attack before the perps get taken away. 130 years behind bars. Don't worry, Velma's waiting for you, Windsor. In Scooby-Doo, Music of the Vampire, Vincent Van Helsing disguises as Lord Valdronia to try and stir up some commotion and sell some more books. He starts with one of these theater vampires before giving the van a moonroof to grab Daphne. A chase of Shaggy leads to him raising the stakes a little bit, attacking all 5 theater kids and Daphne during the ritual. The theater kids also kidnap Daphne to take her here, but that's a whole nother story. He uses his fireball power to attack the gang and light the bayou on fire, knocking the gang—
Yeah, no. Like, this was the only time we actually got this type of good quality for this Scooby-Doo. All the other quality was alright, or, good in my part, but this was actually a good one right here.
out with the gas. Except for Fred, who captures them with a pretty sweet net launcher. Vincent will get 82.5 years in prison, while Bram and his buddies will get 50 years for helping. Never trust the theater kids. In Scooby-Doo Spooky Games, Jack Riggins uses the 40th statue to try and protect his pole vaulting record, terrorizing the Olympic Village and attacking Shaggy, Steve, and Scooby with the discus, bringing the rest of the gang in for the javelin event, while taking the chase down into the underground area. He nearly takes out Fred and the girls, Diane and Steve with the bow and arrow, attacking 3 cops and swinging the giant pole at all 8 of them, getting tripped up at the last hurdle by Daphne and Velma. Pole Vault Jack is getting locked away in the vault for—
that's crazy. Bro, these dudes gotta be the most dumbest or stupidest or craziest villains at Scooby-Doo. They be getting freaking, no, son. Like, all the times I've been watching Scooby-Doo ever since, when I was little, I just be wondering, how do y'all be getting caught? How?
15 life sentences and 40,081 years. In Big Top Scooby-Doo, Archambault teams up with Whitney Doubleday and his trained baboons to go on a spree of jewel thefts, taking 2 from the museums of Atlantic City before heading back to the circus. To go with all the attacks on the gang, Marius, Lena, and Schmatko all get attacked and kidnapped, being kept inside of one of these storage containers, while Wolfric gets his chain snatched and Olivario gets yoinked. Archambault tries to buy himself some time and shoots Doubleday with the tranq gun, attacking Marius and stealing the cash on the train before Shaggy stabs him in the face with like 4 tranquilizers. Okay, Shaggy. 329.5 years in New Jersey State Prison for Doubleday, with Archambault adding another 30 years on top of that. In Scooby-Doo Haunted Holidays, Fabian tries to ruin his uncle's business with the snowman monster so he can sell it and rake in a nice holiday bonus. He chases Shaggy away and wrecks a bunch of festival floats, turning Scooby into a popsicle and attacking the small Santa. We see later that he got tied up and stuffed into the garbage. He attacks Shaggy and Scooby again before breaking back into the store to freeze Fred and the girls, then attacking Shaggy, Scooby, and Santa Claus upstairs. Does Santa have rights? Like, probably. If he sees you when you're sleeping, he definitely saw Fabian stealing from the store's accounts. So that'll be 65 years on the naughty list for him. In Scooby-Doo Mask of the Blue Falcon, Jack Rabble creates a couple of robots to—
Hey, what y'all know about the Blue Falcon and the little dog, dude? What y'all know about that, bruh? Bruh, that's actually a good one.
ruin the comic convention.
That's a good movie,
Mr. Hyde
yeah.
being the star of the show. He breaks in and ties 2 guards up, unleashes these bats with what looks like 212 attendees, almost crushing 4 of them with his big screen. Another attack at the hotel and the flooding of City Hall leads us to the stadium where a giant-sized version trashes the place, attacking Austin and taking out a fire truck.
Damn.
Owen Garrison's revealed inside, but he was framed by Rabble to give him some more time to steal the armored car and attack 16 more people, before Blue Falcon and Dynamite save the day. That'll be 335.5 years in jail, where we pump the fumes from Comic-Con directly into a cell. Is that cruel and unusual?
No.
In Scooby-Doo Adventures, The Mystery Map, Shirley and Stu Stukowski dress up as the Phantom Parrot and the ghost of Nasty Beard to search for Nasty Beard's treasure. Stu breaks into the gang's treehouse and attacks Fred, sealing the gang inside of this cave before sneaking into the lighthouse and chasing Shaggy down the stairs. 38 years in prison for Stu. Shirley does a little bit better of a job, kidnapping Shaggy and Scooby to swab the deck, chasing them around the island and digging the treasure up. Unlucky for her, Shaggy and Scooby bonk her with some coconuts and knock her out, so she'll join her brother in jail for 28 years. Okay, so in Scooby-Doo Stage Fright, there's 4 villains with the same costume. So it gets a little bit murky, but here's what I got. Lance is the Phantom every time something goes wrong with one of the talent show contestants because he wants his own daughter to win. So I've got him for breaking into Lotta's room and switching her perfume with some type of chemical to wreck her vocal cords, and then chasing Shaggy and Scooby once he's caught. He also breaks the Gorilla-saurus Rex's instruments and pushes the Great Paul Dini off the catwalk. 35 years in Illinois prison. Mel is the pyromaniac, so any fire gets attributed to him. He lit this ventriloquist dummy on fire and tried to set the place ablaze to get the insurance money. 81 years. Brick just wanted ratings, so he's the one that crashed the stage in the beginning, and he also ran from police. 2 years. And Dewey's the most prolific, using the disguise to steal the soap diamond to add to his 2 other jewels that he already got. He's the one who chased Shaggy and nearly sliced Daphne and Fred here. And then once they caught him, he rips around Chicago and attacks the gang, even doing a hit and run to try and get the diamond back. 91 years for him. I think that's all. In Scooby-Doo and the Spooky Scarecrow, Abner dresses up as Cornfield Clem to scare away the town from the cornfield that he buried the bank robbery money in. He scares 4 teens off to start, adding Shaggy and Scooby to the rampage, kindly giving them a ride to the old cemetery. Oh yeah, he stole the shovel from this guy. There's petty theft right there. He hops in this combine harvester to chase the gang through the field, but comes to a crash landing. 79 years in prison for him.
Sheesh!
Aw, shucks. I don't have a corny joke to end this one with.
Life is more legal than you think, and LegalZoom is here to help. Whether it's registering a business.
In Scooby-Doo Mecha Mutt Menace, Melanie takes control of her father's robot to get revenge for always being ignored. She starts with the entire presentation hall, and if we assume that we're 11 across, looks like 28 deep, and there's 2 halves here, we've got 616 people. Oh, plus the laser attacks, arson, destruction of government property, and running from the cops. And sending actual missiles at Shaggy and Scooby in their own mech suit. She'll be getting a nice 839 years in a Texas state prison.
Sheesh! Hey!
In Scooby-Doo,
Trying to know about that WrestleMania. I have the whole CD about this, bro. I don't know where it went. I don't know if my little brother threw it at my other little brother. I don't know where they went to, but...
WrestleMania Mystery, Cookie creates his own Ghost Bear costume to steal the belt and get WrestleMania shut down. He attacks the Miz outrunning, and knocks down the sign into town before chasing Shaggy and Scooby around WWE City. He wrecks Sin Cara's whip, and attacks 3 of the other wrestlers, adding John Cena and the gang to that list down in the caves. Fred's nice camera also meets an untimely demise. When the EMP he planted goes off, that gives him time to destroy the WWE Museum, and attack Ruben on the way out of the ring, where Scooby eventually puts him down for the count. Since we all know pro wrestling is real, Cookie gets 32 years in WWE City Prison. Still, less evil than Vince McMahon. In Scooby-Doo Ghastly Goals, Ronaldo uses the Brazilian cryptid
I ain't watched this one.
Deshu to steal this super bouncy potion and sell it for big money. But when a kid's football breaks the vial, he resorts to chasing Shaggy and Scooby around to get the ball back, assaulting a guard by the ball pit to escape. He gets a red card and a 17-year suspension from the FA.
The only dude who really got the lightest sentence was that dude from the other one. And that was what? His name was Toby or something like. He got 2 years.
In Scooby-Doo Franken-Creepy, CL Magnus, Mr. Crawls, Lila, and Mama Mione return to try and kill the gang. No, really, they just straight up admit it. They plant an explosive on the mystery machine, derail their train with a gang and 16 other people aboard, and use this Franken-Creepy monster to drive the townsfolk out. Oh, they also hypnotize Velma to capture Shaggy and Scooby. Daphne and Fred get attacked down in the caves, where the foes trap them with the cave-in. Once Velma's castle explodes, they herd the villains in this train car for the capture, and they're taken away to get 1,416 years in Pennsylvania prison. In Scooby-Doo Moon Monster Madness, Shannon Lucas poses as this off-brand xenomorph to show everyone that space travel should be left to the professionals, like herself. She rips the door off the ship to cut their air supply.
I think I know about this movie. Did I? Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, son. Yeah, I know about this movie, bro.
Forcing them onto the moon, where Shaggy and Scooby are the first to get attacked. She also breaks into the moon base to attack them once more, and after her reveal, locks the remaining 12 people in and sets off these thermal charges to get rid of them for good. Unlucky for her, Daphne and Velma safely guide them back to the home planet, and she's finally taken away to serve her 12 life sentences and 64 years in the prison from Alien 3. In Scooby-Doo and the Beach Beastie, Grafton Brownstone poses as the sea monster to try and steal his wife's fake necklace so she doesn't
Fake necklace?
realize that it's fake, stealing a pair of other pieces of jewelry to cover his tracks. He attacks 30 people and 2 dogs in the hotel, breaks the TV Sandy was using for the presentation for 11 more people, chases the gang into the neighboring park, and snatches up Velma before his capture. Brownstone will be getting about 272 years inside of a Florida state prison.
I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. Yeah.
Scooby-Doo and Kiss, Rock and Roll Mystery. Delilah Domino dresses up as the Crimson Witch to steal Kiss's priceless diamond. She attacks 2 of the Kiss World workers and scares 12 people out. We see her destroy some of the park on the security footage, and attack Shaggy and Scooby once more before stealing the diamond. Now things get a bit murky here because apparently the gang pass out for a while and we see a bunch of wild stuff happen. But also, Kiss are canonically aliens, so why let that stop me? Shaggy and Scooby get kidnapped and sent to the Kiss dimension, where the Crimson Witch attacks them and the band, reanimating these gargoyle Valkyrie things to kidnap the gang and attack Kiss again. If we assume that none of this was real, 47 years in prison. But if all the wild Kiss arc was real, 109 years instead. In LEGO Scooby-Doo Nighttime Terror, Kyle Grimsley uses the Black Knight armor to keep people away from the mansion so he could look for the gold. He scares 2 treasure hunters out before the gang arrive, doing the same to Shaggy and Scooby a couple of times, while locking Fred, the girls, and Adam in the gold room. Luckily, Shag and Scoob come through in the end, and the Black Knight will be getting 36 years worth of nights in LEGO City Prison. In LEGO Scooby-Doo Haunted Hollywood, Verona Dempsey returns as the sea creature, chasing the boys out of the lighthouse, and hitching a ride on their escape boat to her capture. She's not the main villain here, but still 13 years in prison. Our actual villain is Atticus Fink, who uses the Headless Horseman costume to ruin the movie studio so he could buy it for cheap. He attacks Junior one night before turning his attention to the gang, chasing them around the studio and turning the studio to a cart into a drop top. While shooting the film, he returns to destroy the set and chase away the crew, adding on a couple more assault charges here, and one final one on Velma before his capture. He'll get an even 50 years in prison. Hey, remember Junior? Yeah, he dressed up as a zombie and a mummy to scare everyone, thus creating a good horror movie. They just let him go. And you know what? I will too. Anything for a fellow horror fan. In Scooby-Doo and WWE Curse of the Speed Demon, Stephanie McMahon and Triple H team up to create Inferno, sabotaging the race to show Vince that she could win. They attack Dusty Rhodes and The Undertaker during practice, absolutely destroying his car. And during the race, Kofi Kingston is kind of wrong place at the wrong time, getting attacked as they start burning every bridge they have. Literally. The Miz tries to save Shag and Scoob but ends up getting suplexed. Then all 15 racers get a bit of a bump and run, with Lana and Rusev getting knocked around by the Scorpion Tail. H and Steph get 125 years in WWE City Prison. And guess what? Still not as bad as Vince McMahon in real life. In Scooby-Doo Shaggy's Showdown, Kyle and Rafe team up to use the Legend of Dapper Jack to scare the town into selling their land for cheap.
Oh yeah, that nigga did look like Shaggy for a little minute in that movie. I was so confused as a little nigga.
With all of the attacks, we can also add on some arson charges, a breaking and entering to steal the old diary from the museum, and nearly sending the gang over this waterfall. Once he's been found out, Rafe takes off with the prize money, and takes a shot at Shaggy on horseback in pursuit, but ends up getting sabotaged by Maddie B. Raps. Yeah, don't ask questions. Kyle gets 1,260 years in Texas prison, while Rafe gets just 26.
Damn.
In LEGO Scooby-Doo Blowout Beach Bash, the Holdout family all pose as these pyro ghosts to find the treasure and keep their cool kid titles. Probably tough to do when they start scaring a bunch of townfolk, break into the museum and toss a tour guide overboard in their attack spree on Shag and Scoob, and just take off with the whole ship once they escape. For maybe a minute, as the pirate pair break into the club to start up their rampage again, kidnapping Brenda and Tommy and taking them back to the ship. After they get freed, the pirates destroy this cart and shoot Shaggy's plane down, but end up taking the Boardwalk of Shame. They'll be sent to LEGO City Prison for 122 years. Oh, also the cops stole part of the roller coaster to make furniture with. 3 years for them. In Scooby-Doo and Batman, The Brave and the Bold, Clayface steals...
Hey! What y'all know about the Scooby-Doo, Batman, Brave and the Bold, son? Y'all really had to be on your P's and Q's to watch this.
...this isotope to find the cure for his disease, attacking the Mystery Gang, aiding Batman's own bunch of mystery solvers, burning the storage building down in the process. He breaks into Arkham Asylum and releases the criminals, before planting all of the evidence inside the Mystery Machine. In his last stand, he attacks and ties up Aquaman and Batman.
Y'all know there's low-key they might need to do, son? Make one more Scooby-Doo movie and have all the villains that they captured through all the years, son. come out and all team up together. And then Scooby-Doo, they gather up everybody that they teamed up with. Kiss, WWE, Batman, and all them dudes. Like, yeah.
Swoop in with their best Bat cosplays. Clayface will get 154 years in Blackgate, where he'll probably see his buddy the Riddler, who got caught stealing this gold and attacked Question, stole his identity, and tried to destroy Gotham. 69 years in Blackgate for him. In Daphne and Velma, Carol kidnaps a bunch of students to steal their ideas for her company. She controls 3 that we know of, keeping them inside these little glass tubes that you see at the bank. She also controls Daphne's mom, locking both Daphne and Velma in to attack with these robot spider things. Oh, cops are here. That's too bad, Queen. 66 years for you. In Scooby-Doo and the Gourmet Ghost, Henry Metcalf dresses up as the Red Ghost to force Bobby Flay into selling his resort. To do so, he resorts to breaking in and scaring everyone out of the show, chasing Bobby, Jada De Laurentiis, and Shaggy around before taking the historic parchment papers, for maybe 30 seconds. He cracks the window and tries to ruin the gala, but is quickly beat, chopped, and fried. This chowderhead is getting 57 years in a Rhode Island state prison. What a shame. He was a real family guy. In Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost, Mortifer disguises as Vincent Van Gogh's old ancestor to try and steal the chest of demons.
Why most of these villains mostly be older, like young and dumb, and just don't even know their plan was gonna go successfully?
He intercepts Shaggy's package to Vincent, but still feels the need to attack Vincent and his gang in the castle, then follows them over to Nepal to continue his rampage, causing an avalanche and nearly kill Daphne and the boys. While here, he also picks up a couple more assault charges, another reckless driving, and breaks out of his handcuffs to make an escape, though it is short-lived. He'll be put into the Gulag for about 86.5 years. In Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island, the ferry captain and his 2 accomplices dress up as the cat.
For some reason, this was actually a good movie, but I always sleep through this movie from like some part. I don't know, it was one part that I slept through and I went to sleep. I don't know why, but I went to sleep on it.
Creatures of Moonscar Island to try and find the treasure. They cut down a fake tree to nearly take out the van, giving them the opportunity to slash the tires. Once the movie plot's discovered, they tip the candle over and catch the curtain on fire, cut the chandelier to fall on the director, and attack everyone inside. Yeah, that's all well and fine. But destroying the new and improved Mystery Machine? Yeah, get them out of here. 70.5 years in Louisiana State Prison. In Scoob, we get to see Mystery and
that's this the new one. Yeah, we watched the new Scooby-Doo. What Scooby-Doo? Wait, this must be the new Scooby-Doo that's one of them sacrificed their life or something like that. But they, sacrifice their life.
Created its first ever capture of Mr. Rigby, who locked the kids in this old house that he kept all of his stolen electronics in. Easy work, guys. 58 years in prison. A couple years later, Dick Dastardly, who's already wanted for theft in Peru, attacks Shaggy and Scooby at this bowling alley and in this Romanian theme park. He poses as a police officer to kidnap Fred, the girls, and the Mystery Machine, keeping them locked on a ship. He kicks Shaggy while disguised as Fred, taking this giant skull and Scooby away, while also sending Fred and the girls for a big fall. He takes off to Greece, ensuring Blue Falcon won't be following them, and then has his minions shoot the flying Mystery Machine down, with Dee Dee and the gang inside. This allows them to take off with the gold from the underworld, but is quickly captured. Ooh, double unmasking. He stole Simon Cowell's face here for a second. 8 life sentences and 98 years extra. In Happy Halloween Scooby-Doo, Dr. Jonathan Crane escapes his cell and uses his scarecrow disguise to shut down the Halloween parade, exploding this building and destroying the van while attacking Fred and the girls. But he did help the gang try and defeat these demon pumpkins, so I'll let it slide. Oh yeah, the demon pumpkins. Cutler Toe, who's been posing as the sheriff here, uses the jack-o'-lanterns to terrorize Crystal Cove on Halloween night. Of course, Shaggy's the first one to find him, which usually bites him in the ass, just maybe not like this. A total of 9 people get attacked and kidnapped, so combine that with the assault of the gang and friends, and stealing all these cars, he's looking at about 173 years in Crystal Cove Prison. In Scooby-Doo, The Sword and the Scoob, Herman Ellinger does the worst thing to a plane since, well, probably last week. With 24 people aboard and an attack on Scooby, he's getting put onto the no-fly list for 102 years. But of course, that's not our only crook here, as Mrs. Wentworth dresses up as the ghost of Morgan Le Fay to trick Shaggy into signing his land deed over. She attacks them and sends them back into time, attacking the town and kidnapping Shaggy to take Excalibur. She uses her dragon to attack once more, eating King Arthur before the stage production comes to a halt. Yeah, none of that was real. until she reveals that she now owns the deed, not the town. And she takes the sword to attack the knight, hopping in the mystery machine to head back into town, but won't end up with a place at the round table anytime soon. Life in prison plus 10 years for her.
Hey! What we got? Oh shit, we good. We good. We good. We good.
Don't compromise quality insurance for savings or your time for this ad. Hit that skip button. Or don't and watch me skip.
You in there?
Yeah, he hitting them bitches. Don't put size on my screen though.
And straight out of nowhere, Cats and LeQuack somehow squeeze into the cicada costume to control the cicada horde, while also searching for the meteor beneath Courage's house. One of them attacks Shaggy before they steal Eustace's car with the dogs inside, ramming into Muriel and the gang and nearly sending them off the cliff. Also, rip to Eustace's truck. The gang and Muriel get attacked once more.
That dude Houston truck always get the bad treatment, son. I don't know, son. And Houston, he was bad luck in that show. He had to have bad luck. I don't know, son. He was just grumpy all the time, too.
With the bugs taking off with all the humans and sewing them up into their underground web. Muriel gets taken one last time, and the little pink one musters up the courage to have a final kaiju duel to defeat the bugs. They might be some cool cats, but these quacks are still getting 5 life sentences and 115 years in the Nowhere Town jail. In Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo, we're starting over in Nepal with our old buddy the Catman, or should I say Catwoman, who slashes Shaggy and Scooby's sled and then instantly gets captured. 3.5 years in prison. Back in the States, Warden Collins uses these flying robots to—
Oh, I remember this movie. Yeah, they thought it was old girl, and then old girl was in jail the whole time. They asked old girl if Velma had affection for that chick. Yeah.
attack the gang and ruin their Halloween, bringing in Coco for the second attack, and kidnapping Fred and the girls at the old factory.
Had
he also shocks
Coco.
the prisoner for literally no reason. You know what? Just switch places with them. Stay in there for life, plus another 145 years. In Scooby-Doo and Crypto 2, Marcy Graves traps the Justice League inside the Phantom Zone using this projector, which would have allowed her to take over the Hall of Justice behind Lex Luthor's back. Technically, I think all the attacks were the real Justice League and a big misunderstanding, but she's still getting 49 years in Metropolis Prison. She even gets overshadowed by her boss in the crime category, as he takes the projector and causes havoc in the city, using his robots to attack the gang in Crypto, giving him 158 years alongside Mercy. And with that, I finally sentenced every single Scooby-Doo villain for their crimes.
Cause everybody said you had missed that one, I was gonna get on you. But hey, shout out to you though for doing all that. Anyway, if y'all want more videos like these, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. You know, tell a friend and family. Tell your partner down the block, tell the Disty Cup lady, tell everybody that come to this channel, man. Anyways, you want to roll to 500 and I'm out.